Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Formula 4, this time at Autodromo Enzo with Dino Ferrari, better known as Imola, for yet another in the series for the FIA F4 Global Esports Championship presented by Moza. Your chance to win a share of $35,000 by finishing in the top 10 in your region during this series. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. We are, of course, using the fixed setup, which is the Imola setup. Brake bias is set to 55%. We'll be doing a hot lap breakdown, and we'll be back in the cockpit. Final time the driving line on. Poof. All right, let's start the hot lap. Alrighty then, let's start the hot lap. Smashing it down the main straight. We're already in top gear as we go over the start-finish line. Looking for the 100-meter board on the left-hand side, down to third gear, up to fourth gear. We're absolutely flat through here. Gonna drive it balls out this season with the new tyre model. At the 50, little dab on the brakes, back on the gas, little dab on the brakes, back on the gas again, slide it through the exit, just keeping away from the off-track, through the 50, and now we're going to brake up to about 75%, down to second gear, late apex, slide it out the back. As we go up the hill to get blinded by the beautiful northern Italy sunshine. Braking to about 40% in fourth gear, through there up to fifth gear. Gonna start our turn in at the end. We're gonna do a lift lightly on the brakes, down to third gear again, slide it through the exit, up the hill once again as we come towards Alta. At the 50, we're going to brake to about 70%, down to third gear, back on the gas as early as we can, just avoiding the off-track again there. And again, at the 50, braking to about 80%, down to third gear, back on the gas, nice wide exit, which gives us a nice wide entry into the final corner. Ravazza. I just hug it close to the wall-ish. And over and across the line in a 1:44.4. Not as fast as my previous time, I don't think, but, you know, new tyres are shite. All right, let's do the breakdown. All right, breakdown. This is track guide number 29 of 30 I've had to do this week. First braking marker, the 100 on the right hand side, and we brake up to nearly 80%. Why pull that speed off? We drop it down to third gear, and now we trail off and we actually get back on the gas ahead of the first apex. So yeah, at the first apex, I'm already back on 100%. So people lose so much time through here. So we're still flat, and now we've changed up to fourth by the second apex. And if we're calling this the third, obviously absolutely flat still. Don't over brake for this next bit. So at the 50, we're going to start our turn in. We go onto the brakes up to about 40%. We quickly trail that off. We're getting back on the gas at the apex. I've dropped it down to fourth gear. And now, basically, as soon as I straighten my wheel, back on the brakes up to about 40%. And again, trailing it off and getting back on the gas before the apex once again. Don't go too early, however, because anything to the left of where I am now is an off-track. We brake just after the 50 for the Toza hairpin, and we're going to brake up to about 75%, wipe that speed off, trail it off, we drop it down to second gear, and then we're looking to get on the gas as early as possible. Basically, at mid-corner, I'm at, what, nearly 80% gas. Going to be after the 50, roughly where the 30 would be, that we start our turn in, and we're on the brakes up to about 50%. Trail it off nice and early, and again, ahead of the curve, we're back on the gas, almost 80% in fourth gear. Up to fifth. So we've got the 50-meter board just on our left here, and as we go through that, we start our turn in, we come off the gas more or less. I'm on the brakes only up to about 20%, and then I feather off the brakes. I'm still holding about 20-30% on the gas, and then again, as I head towards the entrance of turn 10. I'm getting on the brakes up to about 50%. Trail that off. I've dropped it down to third, and you want to pick up on the gas ahead of the apex. I went twice there. Slide it through, and then you're back up to 100%. Going to be the 50 here for Alta. So as we go to the 50 board, we get on the brakes up to about 70-75%. Trail it off down to the first apex. We've dropped it down to third gear. We now get on the gas a little bit, and then I just do a lift, and then I start getting on the gas again and exit nice and wide. As you can see, this is a low fuel lap. So at the 50, or wow, it's actually at the 100, is it? Just after the 100 board, we're going to be braking quite hard up to about 80-85%. Why pull that speed off? We've dropped it down to fourth. We're going to trail off down to the apex, dropping it down to third. I pick back up on the gas. You want a nice wide exit there. So anything further to the right than where I am is also an off track. And then we're just going to lightly dab the brakes, ending up to about 20%. Trail that off quickly, and then back on to 100% as soon as we come down off the curb. And then, as always, just pin our ears back and head for the start-finish line. And over we go. Right, we've got one final version coming up now with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.